I need to make a separate new window, actually. Um, awesome. All right. Okay. So I've been wanting to do this idea for a while. Um, I just want to talk about Pokemon. Don't necessarily want to do live streams of playing all the time, but um, something that I think would be fun is if, as a community, we kind of talked about what is happening in Pokemon. I'm going to cover my face with chat right now, but so as you can see on the screen side of things, I have put up. Oh, geez, this is why I don't do that. What's it called? I'm gonna turn this up really quick. Filters. I think this was better audio wise. So we're not gonna have any music or anything playing in the background. We're just gonna hang out. So to anybody that drops in, welcome. Please feel free to join in the chat. I have that up and I can see, something big that's happening right now is obviously the Pokemon Presents is coming up tomorrow. And not even necessarily tomorrow. It's coming up in a few hours, really. For me, it'll be in less than 12 hours. So I will not be awake, most likely. But I would like to talk about predictions, and there's all a bunch of like rumor channels, and I don't want to be a rumor channel, but I would like to talk about what I see and what I think, kind of share my opinion, and I want to hear other people's opinions live. Otherwise, if you guys would prefer me to do this filmed and more scripted, but not completely, I could do that too. And then I'll just keep uploading it into a playlist that I just made called Poke Chat. So, yeah, whatever we want to talk about is free game. I just think doing it live will be more interesting. I'm certainly more excited to be able to chat with you guys live rather than having to read comments later, but I'm definitely down to read comments after. So yeah, let's get started. So the big thing right now for Pokemon, Gen 2 remakes again, or Gen 5, Legends or Faithful remakes. That's the really big question. There's been lots of talk, lots of rumors, and personally, I'm all for doing all of it. I would love to see go to Johto in a more modern way, and I would like to try and revisit Unova. I've been pretty vocal about it not being my favorite region, but definitely something that I would like to give another try. Just because, when the games first came out, it was new technology. There was no precedent set for what is this going to be like. And actually, I see a picture down here that this right here. I think what would be cool would be a Legends Johto game. Not necessarily Ho-Oh or Lugia. Obviously, the lore is more around Lugia and Celebi, as we can see here in this this image. But I don't know. I think it would be good with Celebi as like the main part, kind of drifting you back in time, right? Because Legends Arceus system, Arceus. We just kind of get sent back in time randomly by Arceus, and there's no real reason. Just kind of you have to show up there, and I don't know. But I think with Celebi, you hanging out in Ilex Forest, you've already done an adventure through Johto, and you're going to do the what's it called, the event to get Celebi in Ilex Forest, and all of a sudden it just shows up and decides we're going on a trip back in time. We shoot back, I don't know what, like 200 years or whatever, to get back to when the legendary beasts were whatever they were originally. There's all that talk about were they Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon, which I don't think is the case. There's that Pokemon Origins video or series where we can see they're clearly just some kind of dog-like creature, and then maybe Ho-Oh, when it revives them, adds kind of more bestial feline features, because they're all kind of dog, kind of feline. Because I remember for the longest time, we all were calling them the legendary dogs, right? Because we had the legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, and so it made sense. We have to pick an animal, and there they go. But that's not what Pokemon are. They are an amalgamation of things, right? Look at Nidoking. It's a rabbit. It's venomous. It is a rhinoceros. It's a gorilla. Like, that's 4 things in one. And Nidoking's awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really cool to do that. Something else I think would be interesting with the Unova games is if they do that, especially if they do a Legends game, it would be a really cool way to tie into Gen 10, which I would hope is like a Chinese-based region. Like, I would really like an Italian region, but I think Paldea is, Spain kind of influence, very similar. So maybe not as necessary right now. We just did that, right? We haven't done an Asian culture in a while. I think not since Gen 4, right? Because we had Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh all in one general area as Japan. But then we went to Unova, where it's, based off of the colonial United States area. So that could be a cool thing for the Legends game more than a remake or even a second sequel, making it a trilogy, which would be cool. But I think a remake, basically what I think they should do would be do like they did with Sinnoh. Make a Legends game about Unova, tie it in to modern day, and also where we're going next. So I think I look at the box legendaries, right? Reshiram and Zekrom. And I've always thought yin and yang, to the best of my knowledge, is a ideology that started in China. So actually, let's look it up. Let's find out. I'm gonna see my stream there, but that's fine. The idea of yin and yang origins. So, for example, stomach yang forms a pair with spleen yin. Put simply, yin organs are solid and their main function is to store our energies and fluids, while yang organs are hollow and their main function is to transform and transmit energies and fluids. Let's see. Let's do, where did yin and yang originate? So yin and yang is a concept originated in ancient Chinese philosophy that describes how obviously opposite or contrary forces may create each other by their comparison and are to be seen as actually complementary, interconnected, and independent in the natural world, and how they may give rise to each other as they ... So that plays back into what I'm thinking, that we will get a Legends Kyurem game, for example, right? That's the big idea right now. And I think that's the best idea for a Legends game, right? Show us the original dragon when it's all three of them. Show us how it splits. Don't necessarily need to make it, like, it could be the silhouette. It doesn't have to be the actual catchable Pokemon. I'm not even worried about that. I just want to see it, know that it actually exists, know that they're going back and faithfully doing something to the origins that they created. Because think about, like, the Paradox Pokemon right now. They're called Paradox for a reason. They're not the actual future versions, they're not the actual past versions. They're just alternate versions. They're like weird anomalies created by these science experiments. So I think it could tie in very heavily, like, the, people traveled from this region, whatever it is, to, like, Galar. And from Galar, they all kind of moved their way over to Unova. And it could be called something else, whatever, doesn't matter. But I think it would be super interesting to tie into Gen 10 and say we're going to a Chinese-based region where Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem originated from. Because, I mean, I look at them and that's all that I see is yin and yang. And immediately I'm like, what a wasted potential. And I'm super happy that they chose the United States to do a region on. But at the same time, like, you are clearly visually showing us these are off some more Asian inspired area. So I think that would be great. And I do think it would be best to do it in 2025 when it's the 30th anniversary or 25th anniversary of Pokemon. No, shoot, we've been out since 98 or 96, something like that. So yeah, 30. But and then at the same time, like they did Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, right? Like, I'm actually seeing it right here. So, like, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and then at the same time we got Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. So we were able to visit Sinnoh 2 different times in 2 different ways. One in a more remake, more or less faithful. I haven't actually played them. I've seen them playthroughs and stuff on YouTube. I own them both, and I will be playing them soon. But like, we got to see the present of Sinnoh and the past. So I think for Unova next year, 2025, we do a Legends game for Kyurem, find out where these legendaries came from, and then we also get black and white remakes. I don't think we need a trilogy, but it would be cool to be able to revisit with modern mechanics, not necessarily doing terastallization or whatever's coming next, right? Because I don't think Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, they didn't have that. They didn't do megas or anything. And we had just gotten off of Sword and Shield, so there was no Gigantamax, Dynamax, none of that. So I think that would be the way for Pokemon to go about it, and that's what I would like to see as a fan. I would this year like to see a Legends Johto game. Just because it has been a while, obviously, since we've revisited Johto. It's like 2009, so pretty close to 20 years, which is kind of nuts, but it's all good. Another thing too, like, would they do more past forms, regional variant sort of thing? And I don't know. I'm gonna move this down just a little bit. I feel like they would, right? There's already a variant of Braviary, so they probably would use some other ones. I don't know which Pokemon they could do. They would actually, I lied. I know exactly which Pokemon they would do. Darmanitan. They would definitely need a Darmanitan variant to show its more ancient past, like Zen mode, how it got to be Zen mode. And then obviously there's the regional variant Galarian form. So if they do that, they do the real life historical journey of British settlers coming to the Americas, they could potentially have Galarian Pokemon in Unova, and more so have Unovan counterparts or regional form evolutions, not forms, but like kind of like how the starters, they all had their original base form, their original middle stage, and then their final stage totally different, like Impidimp and Hatena, right? Two very stable Galarian Pokemon. Maybe they have Galarian or Unovan counterparts from the past that just from being there, they evolve differently. Another one that I would like to see would be Duraludon. I would like to see a previous stage of Duraludon, because I look at Duraludon and it looks like a final stage Pokemon. Now a middle stage Pokemon, because obviously we have Archeraludon, which is cool. I haven't used it yet, and I would like to, but I think that would be cool to see a previous stage. That way it's now a 3-stage line, just like Dragapult, and it would be cool to see the original Dragapult, right? What was it before it became Dreepy, at the Dreepy line? I can't think of all of their names, but yeah. Actually, I'm seeing something else here that I would like to see. The Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games in the marketplace. Like, Pokemon would make so much money. Nintendo would make so much money putting these in the marketplace. And then on top of it, they now cut out the middleman of people having to use emulators, Um, like there's no reason not to. As soon as they shut down the DS Nintendo eShop, they should have immediately ported them to the Switch. There's no reason for them not to, outside of getting ready for the Switch 2. But I doubt that's really the reason. Just because we could make money right now, why wouldn't we? Um, yeah, I don't know. That's something I would like to have. Just so I could play them on a bigger screen and I don't have to do it here on the computer, to be able to see this little itty bitty tiny screen, which when I was, 8 years old was great. But now I'm older, I'm bigger, and my eyes don't work. So I could tell you one thing for sure that I do not want. I do not want a Let's Go game. I know there's been so much push for Pokemon Go, and I think, for the Pokemon Go fans, it's great. Go, get your exercise, catch your Pokemon, have fun. But we don't need a Let's Go game. I don't need to walk around Johto with Umbreon or Espeon, any of the baby Pokemon. No, just give us a game, a regular game, and make it good. That's it. Just simple. Keep it simple. Make it good. I don't see much else that really is sparking my memory, and I wish I had written some stuff down. But I don't know. What's this? Can I make this bigger? Is that going to take me to a website? Next week's Pokemon Presents might feature gold and silver news. The Pokemon Company itself may have very well leaked that gold and silver news is coming during the upcoming Pokemon Presents broadcast. Let's see. The video description for the next Pokemon Presents broadcast suggests that Pokemon might soon have some gold and silver news in store for fans. The Pokemon Company has taken to publishing Pokemon Presents videos each year on Pokemon Day, February 27th. Why 227? I need to look that up. Or if anybody knows, leave it in the comments. These short videos serve as both a celebration of the franchise as well as a platform for Pokemon to announce new games and projects. Oh, and by the way, this is Game Rant's website. So I don't want to infringe on anybody's anything. This is just what they reported, and I'm just reading it. That's it. Let's see. The recently announced Pokemon Presents is accompanied by all sorts of rumors and speculation as to what the franchise could announce next. Over the years, the franchise has developed some patterns when it comes to its release schedule, but Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have had enough surprises sprinkled in to keep fans on their toes. Between mainline RPGs, remakes, and spin-off titles, there are more than a few directions the franchise could decide to go in next, but fans are now thinking the series could be headed back to the Gen 2 region, Johto. Let's see why. Let's see, the rumored Pokemon Johto and Unova games may come with a big twist. Ooh, maybe I'll read that. Let's see, why Pokemon Presents could feature gold and silver news. The Pokemon Company's official YouTube channel released a short video teasing the upcoming Pokemon Presents broadcast, as first spotted by Nintendo. The description of the short video on mobile includes key art for Pokemon Gold, as well as the titles Pokemon Gold and Silver beneath the game's field. However, the mention of Pokemon Gold and Silver only shows up on the mobile version of the YouTube app. Oh, okay. So let's see. Before the Presents announcement, fans were already speculating about the possibility of Pokemon returning to Johto for one more reason or another. Rumors have long been swirling concerning a Pokemon Gold and Silver remake in the style of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Additionally, nope, let's not do that. Additionally, fans have also pointed to Johto as an ideal location for a follow-up to Pokemon Legends Arceus, which took place in the 4th generation Sinnoh region. While these titles remain leading theories among fans, there are countless directions the Pokemon Company could go if they were to make a Gold and Silver announcement. Classic Pokemon games have been rumored for Switch Online for quite some time now, with it being the 25th anniversary of Pokemon Gold and Silver's release in Japan this year. The inclusion of these titles may somehow factor into a celebration of the fan favorite games. Following the DLC releases for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, fans have been wondering what is next for the series. While it still feels too soon to see what Gen 10 has in store, fans have also speculated about Pokemon Black and White remakes before the also heavily rumored Switch successor. Okay, so I do want to... Can I make this image bigger? Okay. So I guess when you're on Pokemon's YouTube page, but only on the mobile version, so on your cell phone, maybe even tablets, they have Pokemon Gold and Silver as their, what's it called? Like what game they're playing while they stream. So I think that is a pretty good indicator. Let's see, tune in to our official YouTube channel at 6 a.m. PST, that's me, on February 27th to view exciting Pokemon news in celebration of Pokemon Day 2024. See you there, trainers. Okay. So that is a very sneaky indication of something that might be happening. So I'm guessing that it is possible that we will be getting the original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games ported to the Switch eShop, which would be cool for me because I want to do that. But let's see. I'm going to read this one too. Let's see. The rumored Pokemon Johto and Unova games may come with a big twist. See, after the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Indigo Disc DLC, the discourse surrounding Pokemon games started to veer in the direction of what's next, be it new titles revealed on Pokemon Day 2024 or even next year with Gen 10 and whatever it may bring. While Pokemon Gen 10 games are a hot topic due to how Pokemon Scarlet and Violet set new bars to clear both in positive terms and negative ones, there is a chance that the next mainline games will be released in 2026 instead of next year. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. Since that is the 30th anniversary of the franchise. That I could be okay with. So we wait an extra year. So I think 2024, November, we get a Johto game. Whether it's the originals ported to the eShop, a remake, or a Legends game. I'm hoping it's a Legends game and the ports to the eShop, because I would like to play Gold and Silver and Crystal in their original formats, and then also do a Legends game in Johto format. That would be cool. And it'd be a good way too to tie into the Sinjoh ruins so that you have something to play off of from Legends Arceus. So that does make the most sense because those two regions are the most connected. And then from there would go Kanto, and then Hoenn kind of off to the side. So maybe it'll just be a trilogy of games, not necessarily a whole series. But again, a Legends Kyurem game or Unova would be cool, but definitely would like to do a Legends Johto game. Right, so 30th year franchise, okay. Still, the next big release is rumored to be that of Johto or Unova Pokemon games, but they may come with a big twist. And again, this is the Gamerant website, so I'm just reading straight off of here. I don't mean to infringe on any of their material, just reading it and kind of building my ideas. The Pokemon Company could even release Johto and Unova Pokemon games simultaneously, possibly including Gen 5 remakes to follow Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and maybe a new Pokemon Legends or Let's Go games. Again, let's not do Let's Go. It looked really good, but they took so much of the new things that we as Pokemon fans enjoy. Right? It was nice to kind of take out abilities for a little while so I could just worry about battling, not really worrying about, oh man, am I going to get staticked? Am I going to get poison point? Am I going to get spored? Am I going to get cute charmed? Like, no. That was kind of nice. But, oh, and then obviously shrinking the Pokedex back down to 151 plus the handful of, what was it, Alolan regional variants. So not too bad. Less than 200 Pokemon, like barely over one, maybe 160. So a lot easier to run that on a Switch and make the game really, really good. So I am hoping something else. Side note, as this whole thing has been, I really would like Gen 10, whether it comes out 2025 or 2026. I really would like it to do what Gen 5 did. I want it to scrap everything, start fresh, create a new Pokedex of Pokemon. Duh. And we have to use these new Pokemon. We have to get used to using new Pokemon, new abilities, new trainers, like no callbacks until we beat the game. Then all of a sudden, boom, now more Pokemon or old trainers are being brought back into the mix. And then from there, they could do DLC, or they could do what they did with, the red, blue, gold, silver. They're basically part 1, part 2, black, white, 2. Like, rather than doing a DLC. But the Gen 10 part 2 could be DLC. So it's like getting a whole new game, but only having to pay for DLC. But again, maybe in 2 parts. Whatever it is, there's something there. But yeah, let's go on. There have been all sorts of rumors about this so far, and it would make sense to deliver both of these hypothetical titles since there's a strong demand for new Johto and Unova experiences. To this end, there is a solution that would help have both Johto and Unova games, and it would be to have them as a single combined title. That I have seen. Let's see how a combined Johto and Unova Pokemon would bring Gen 2 and 5 full circle. I don't know that there's a whole lot between Gen 2 and 5 to bring whole circle. I like that they have this old picture of gold or silver. But yeah, okay, so a combined Johto and Unova game would make a lot of sense. So this I definitely need to read because I'm not seeing the correlation here. So much like Gen 2 games allowed players to explore Johto for the first time and then head to Kanto, a new Johto and Unova Pokemon game could have a similar premise, with the starting point being either region depending on story reasons. One could argue that having such a game start in Unova and then head to Johto would make the most sense, since it would be first and foremost a Gen 5 remake, and then also offer a fresh take on Johto, bringing the original Gen 2 titles full circle. I don't know how that would make sense. Let's see. There's a quote here. A primarily Gen 5 game allowing players to visit a different region altogether would also bring Unova games full circle, as they were meant to be a soft reboot of the series, closing the chapter of Japan-based games and broadening Pokemon's horizons overseas. I don't know. I don't see it. If you guys see it, you have an idea, leave it in the comments. Try to convince me, because I don't see it. I think it would either have to tie into Gen 10, which I'm hoping would be a Chinese based region. That would be super cool. China has lots of really good folk tales, lore, mythology going on. Obviously it's very ancient civilization. It would be cool to see the Great Wall of China in a Pokemon game. or obviously like the Great Wall of whatever region name. But I, because I do feel like Unova would have to connect with Galar in some way, just because without, like, if they follow real world history, there's no way for Unova to exist without Galar, because there's no United States of America without the British Empire, right? The United Kingdom, lent the ships, the Mayflower, and the Pilgrims, and we won't do a history lesson, but that whole thing. So, what else? I don't know. I think it would be cool. And then just a little more history. In California, where I'm at, the railroads that go up and down the state were developed or put together, built by Chinese immigrants and other immigrants as well, Mexican immigrants, others. I don't want to get too into it, but that would be a great way to tie in to a Chinese region, tie into a West Coast United States region, and then they can bring back the ore region from, what's it called, the Colosseum, where your Wes, I think is the character's name, the cool with the cool hand arm thing, right? Because that's supposed to be based off like an Arizona desert area, and obviously that whole area has been developed much more over the last 20 years. So, and that's something we haven't seen since Gen 3. I was talking about this earlier in my Ruby Nuzlocke stream. One of the 3D sprites of Pokemon that I actually like more than the 2D sprites is Zigzagoon. I don't know. I saw it in Coliseum when it came out. I thought it was so cute. I was like, this is great. I don't know why, but I want it on my team. I don't like raccoons. I don't like rodents in real life. They scare me like crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It's adorable. So definitely, if you guys can think of how Gen 2 and Gen 5 would correlate, let me know. Put it in the comments, put it in chat, wherever you're at, if you jump in. And if you are here watching video, whether live or later, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Share it with anybody you think might like this kind of content. I also do Nuzlocks on here. Hopefully, I would like to do this more regularly, but I could do it pre-recorded and then upload it if you guys would rather do that, and then we can chat in the comments. Not a big deal. Okay, so going to Johto in the post game as players did with Kanto in Gen 2 would be a nice touch and a bit nostalgic move on the Pokemon Company's part. This approach could even address a big problem in Gen 2 games, or Gen 2 games, where players don't find a lot of Johtonian Pokemon in the wilds in the playthrough, and instead they have to look for them later in the end game or post game. It could also be a good way to have players focus on Unovan Pokemon first and foremost, making the title a true Gen 5 Pokemon game. I mean, I agree with the not finding Johto Pokemon, but I don't see the need to go between Unova and Johto. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not the writer, so let's see. A Johto and Unova combined game could feature Paradox legendary Pokemon. I hope not. And then here's some images of the Paradox Pokemon. I do want to see this in the game, in Scarlet and Violet, not in a Johto game. This one scares me. Those are whatever. Let's see. A Pokemon game spanning Johto and Unova could use Scarlet and Violet's time travel gimmick. No. The Unova to Johto trip, or vice versa, wouldn't even need to follow the same rules as the Kanto postgame in Gen 2. In fact, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Paradox Legendary Beasts and Swords of Justice come from 2 different eras. That's another thing. I need to pause right there. The Swords of Justice are based off of the 3 Musketeers, right? And then Keldeo is based off of D'Artagnan. We were talking about this the other day in my Ruby Nuzlocke stream. The 3 Musketeers are French. They're not American. Why are there American legendary Pokemon that are clearly not... on one hand, it makes so much sense. Because modern America, nobody's from here, right? My ancestors are from Mexico. They're from Italia. They're from España. They're from who knows where else. And that's true of everyone living in the United States. Nobody is from here except for Native Americans. To which we need a regional Xatu. And like a dope regional Xatu. And a few other, like Sigilif and a few other, like clearly Native American inspired Pokemon. But like that's a great way to use the Swords of Justice, right? To tie into Kalos. So now we've got Kalosian Pokemon, Galarian Pokemon, Unovan Pokemon. That's 3 different regions already in one thing, and they can tie back and forth and then hit Gen 10 with the China. Like, so much good could happen if they do it right. So Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Nintendo, if you guys are listening, go ahead and sprinkle my ideas in, and feel free to throw me a check if you have a little extra cash at the end of the year. Just kidding. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Right. So with the former being... Okay, so I'll read that whole sentence again. The Unova and Johto trip, or vice versa, wouldn't even need to follow the same rules as the Kanto postgame in Gen 2. In fact, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Paradox, Legendary Beasts, and Swords of Justice come from 2 different eras, with the former being from the past and the latter from the future. A Pokemon Johto and Unova game could use both of these concepts and involve time travel in a different way than Gen 9, this time allowing players to hop between different periods to catch these powerful critters. What a great way to put that. Let's see, players could use time travel to reach future Unova and then past Johto, for example, which would make it not only justified to reintroduce Paradox Pokemon, but also an interesting addition to the series due to the lore and story implications this choice could entail. With Gen 5 legendary Pokemon's penchant for fusions, true, a combined Johto and Unova Pokemon game could even have fusions between Zekrom, Reshiram, Ho-Oh, and Lugia. That I'm not 100% against. So where are you going with this? All based on the different versions of the game. There's a lot of untapped potential for this idea, and a combined Gen 2 and Gen 5 Pokemon game would be perfect to address what many fans want. Let's see. I guess that's it on that. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea, but I definitely would like to get a good revisit of Unova, and revisiting Johto is always a good time. I actually just recently did it, Heart Gold, and that was a lot of fun. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else really that is catching my eye, but let me know what you guys think. Tell me, do you want Unova remakes? Do you want Unova Legends? Do you want Ho-Oh or Johto Legends? Do you want Johto remakes? Do you want the old games ported to the eShop? Do you want all of it and more? Do you have your own ideas that you would love to drop in the comments and talk to people about? What do you think? Let me know. Leave a like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let me know if you want to do this again. I can do it live. I can do it pre-recorded. I enjoyed talking. It's fine. I'm getting my ideas out there now. So I hope everybody enjoys Pokemon Presents tomorrow. I will probably watch it later in the day. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.